I'm Daniel Majorana, a sophomore at Penn State, majoring in broadcast journalism and minoring in business. I am joined here today with Olympic gold medalist and the former world record holder and still standing Olympic long jump record holder, Bob Beamon. Also with me today is well-known track and field promoter and agent Don Franken.
Hey, thank you, Daniel. Happy to be here. So, Bob Beamon, tell us 54 years since your Olympic record. Tell us little, what do you feel like October 18th and what's your memory of this historic moment, Bob?
Well, the historic moment uh, is always a exciting thing to reflect back on. Uh, However, I had no idea that the Olympic record or the world record would last 23 years, and then of course I still hold the oldest Olympic record as of today of 54 years of October 18th. So I'm extremely uh, excited, and in addition to that, to know that I'm still being remembered for that long jump, and I'm hoping that that they will continue to remember me in that way, even though my good looks should be much better received than the jump. But uh, the fortunate thing was that no one has, well, they've come close in a sense, but not close enough. In the 2016 and 2020 in the Olympic Games in Tokyo and in Brazil, they were at least a foot and a half away from me. So I'm pretty excited about it still standing there. So uh, if we go into the day that I jumped um 29 feet 2.5 inches, it was quite a relaxing day, and the skies were uh, completely blue, uh, with the exception of every every afternoon about 3 o'clock. It was always rain, 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 and so the idea was to get a particular jump on the first one. My particular would be to get something out on the first one, and then come back and really try to beat the jump of my first one. So just standing up there in the runway, I was truly relaxed. Nothing. No, I wasn't worried about anything. I was just waiting for them to call my name so that I can just run down the runway and perform. And and so I did. I ran down the runway, and it was uh, nothing, no sound, no nothing. I could not hear anything. And then all of a sudden, boom! I jumped up over 6 feet in the air, and actually, I had to look at my watch because my watch was saying that while I was in the air, was saying that, wow, you're really up way over in the clouds. And so uh, the story of the jump ends, and I land uh, with a jump measured at 8.9 meters, which I wasn't familiar with meters at the time. And uh, we had a teammate, Ralph Boston, who had been in the business long before I was in the game of long jumping, who translated that 8 meters into feet. And actually, I was walking, and he said, "Bob, you just jumped over 29 feet," but I was still walking, and then all of a sudden, I collapsed, and I was like, "Oh my goodness!" I mean, how could I do that? But I think the thing was that I had to pinch myself because I thought that maybe that might be a dream. It would be a wonderful dream to jump that far. And I was wake up. I said, well, that's what I got to do. But in true life, it was a real life situation for me. And so I think as of today, I kind of pinch myself to really think, wow, I still hold the Olympic record and I won a gold medal. So it's truly an exciting event, as well as how I had in 1968 had mastered that event.
Back when you were at the games, 1968, October 18th, after the first two attempts that you faulted on that long jump, sorry, what was going through your head before your third and last attempt?
Well, it's always good to have a great teammate who has been in the business, as I said, long time with Ralph Boston, who uh, thought that I was in some trouble by fouling twice, and I only had one more attempt to uh, to make the finals, to qualify for the finals. And he walked up to me with such a relaxed face and just said, "You know what? Those other two jumps, just to race it out, and I want you to move it back a couple of inches." And so I moved it back at least about 3 or 4 inches. And on my final attempt in the preliminaries, I did jump. And I think that I jumped well over the qualifying jump of 26:10, somewhere around there, uh, which would probably have medal in the preliminaries. But I made the finals. And so I didn't feel that the pressure was there, but I had to feel very confident in making the final attempt.
So these days and age, there's so much technology. There's lighter shoes. There's all the Fitbits that get you the technology that you need to know. There's trainers that are more advanced than ever before. Did you think your record would still last present day?
I think that the way that we looked at records back in 1968 and prior to that, we always said that records are made to be broken. And it seems like uh, that records are broken only by quarter of an inch or half an inch or so forth. But they kind of summarized the jump as it being a record that was way out in another uh, atmosphere. It was truly a jump that was uh, 55 centimeters uh, further than the existing existing Olympic record as well as world record.
Let me ask you, Bob, what does the term Beamon-esque mean? How was that coined? Two questions for you. Then after this, I'd love if you could talk a little about Jesse Owens, the parallel, because Jesse, I think, also only made the Olympics on his third jump, and it was a competitor who basically from another country who sort of helps him, like Ralph Boston sort of was there for you. So maybe we could talk about those two things, please.
Well, let me give a little historical data in terms of Jesse uh, in 1936. Uh, I had the same kind of situation that happened in that happened to me in '68. That was happening to Jesse in '36, where he had fouled two jumps and he had one more, and uh, a guy by the name of Lutz Long, who was from Germany, uh, came up to him and said, "Here, you've got to make a certain amount of adjustments on your jump." And Jesse listened to him, and Jesse made that adjustment and became the winner in the long jump. And they became uh, uh, longtime friends until Jesse's death. But I would say that I can only in terms of Jesse's ability, his ability was just unreal, and his Olympic record lasted for 25 years. So I'm kind of excited that mine is still there after 54 years. Which they've said that 54 years is the longest lasting Olympic record to ever be recorded. And so I take that as something extremely special to my heart.
If the day were ever come where another athlete broke your Olympic record, would that make you feel that there's a new generation that's just simply doing it a little bit better, or are you going to feel a little bit of remorse?
Well, when it comes to that day, I can't tell you, what kind of feelings that would come, but I can always say that I had a wonderful long run of holding an Olympic record. And as they say, records are made to be broken. So I'm pretty I'm pretty aware of the young generation with all the different things that uh, uh, make an athlete better in their particular events or discipline. So I'm I'm looking forward to progress. As they say, progress is our most important product. So I'm saying, go ahead on. Let's see what you can do, youngster.
So after you achieved this record, how did your life change? Not as obviously right after, but just being that presence as an Olympic record holder.
Well, they for instance, the the word they described after my jump in '68 was called Beamon. And Beamon uh, became a word that Webster Dictionary adopted and included in all their words in the dictionary. And so I am now officially in the dictionary as the word is Beamon, meaning beyond beyond anyone's imagination, something that is greatness and uh, beyond what we could ever imagine uh, in our event or in whatever competitions that we're in, but also in life in general. They coined the word Beamon as we want you to have a Beamon attitude, and so we can always go back to the dictionary and look at uh, how that the dictionary describes Beamon. And so I'm the only athlete in the world that's in the dictionary that they name my name after a particular result of an Olympic game. So I am so blessed and excited to be in Webster's dictionary.
Okay, going back to after or during your career, sorry. What structure did you have in your life or during your career that helped you to achieve your record in 1968?
Well, I think you have to be, first of all, uh, we all have some social kinds of things that we do uh, every day, every week, or every month. or every year. And sometimes you have to learn how to incorporate and to have both of them. You can work with both of them. And sometimes you have to give up one in order to be successful in one. And so I had to give up my social activities in order uh, to continue uh, my love for the sport, which was track and field, is to be the best that I can be and shoot for making the Olympic team. And so that's what I had to do. I started out at 9, and at 22, um, I had made the Olympic team uh, when I was 21 years old. So I'm I was very excited about making the team, but again, you can be excited but not have the motivation. And so I had the motivation and I had the commitment uh, uh, to go forth and to make the Olympic team and to uh, uh, think about winning a gold medal for myself, for my family, for the U.S. So it was you got to think about a lot of things and be able to put everything in perspective.
What was the political mood in 1968, and how did you decide not to boycott the Mexico City Games? Because I believe others like Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and Bill Walton decided to boycott, and Kareem also decided to skip those Olympics. What was your thoughts on that during the games?
Well, as those were days that were very dark days in a sense, and um, this was a situation where we had to think about boycotting as uh, Black athletes who felt that our human rights was taken away from us. Uh, we could win a gold medal, but we would go back to our country and not being able uh, to get a job or to support our families. So it was very difficult during that time. And so we decided, or we were going to decide whether we were going to boycott or continue to go on and make the Olympics. I think that went on uh, until the Olympic trials, final Olympic trials, and that's when I made a decision that I had worked too hard to stop uh, uh, my dream um, by not going because I looked at it this way: uh, I might I might not never make it in '72. I might not make it in '76, or something might happen, or something might happen that I might get injured or something. And so I had to look at a number of things to come up with making a decision. And I made the right decision of participating in '68. And so pretty much uh, all of the track team, Black athletes, decided to go.
Switching back to present day, I hear about a trip in New York that you're going to be on in Staten Island that you'll be honored for. Could you tell us a little about that?
Yeah. Well, first of all, I'm going to go back um, and give my uh, a motivational talk with the youngsters in Staten Island. And I'm right next door where I grew up, and next to Staten Island. So I'm always excited about giving back uh, to the youngsters. And so I will be there November 1st, probably until the 5th. And then hopefully there'll be some other activities. I know that they're going to be trying to put together a group to name the library in Queens, Bob Beamon's library. So I'm pretty excited about that. So there's a number of things that I think are going to happen.
One last question, Bob. You've been inspiration for young people, and it seems like your whole life has been dedicated to young people in Miami when you were heading up, I think, youth services, so forth. Maybe you could just tell us a little about your commitment to youth sports.
Yes, I have a commitment to youth, but in a very different kind of way. It's not all sports. Uh, Sports is probably a hook uh, to get your athletes aware of uh, to be aware of 360 degrees of how they should be looking at themselves personally, but also what's around them, what's in front of them, what's in back of them. And so to give them another side of life besides sports. So I work in both areas. I work on the side of sports, but I also work on the side of helping people be the very best that they can be uh, outside of the world of sports too.